In Dorohedoro, to understand the art, we kinda need to understand the plot as well. Differently to other media, I would say Dorohedoro has a cast of main characters, as opposed to just one or two like most manga and anime do. We have the characters that live in Hole, a shit show of a place where everyone is on the brink of death, struggling to stay alive. I'm pretty sure that most people here have soot in their ball sacks, and they're all oppressed by the sorcerers or magic users that live in, well, the sorcerer's world. I didn't come up with these names. The world of sorcerers is still pretty bad when you look at it. One shithole is better than another in this case, but it's enhanced in a measurable amount by the art direction. Looking at the world of Dorohedoro, we can visually see and feel the trashiness of the place. It's not just the fact that there are corpses hanging from the ceiling, but the way that they're drawn hanging from the ceiling. And this is what I mean by bad art. Yes, this panel is amazingly and beautifully drawn, but these posts are not straight. These windows are not aligned. You can tell this room is not well kept. But what is it that makes it feel that way? Well, all these little lines and splotches of shit that are on the wall and on the floor. Kyu Hayashida is a master at this, making things look and feel uncomfortably disgusting. The art style is so messy. I bet these walls feel like the sticky hands of a toddler. And that's just the way that Kyu Hayashida has decided to make her art. If you've read anything else by her, we can see that the same messiness and unkeptness in her technique is faithful to her art direction. It is truly beautiful. The world feels rotten because the art style is also rotten. To be able to depict an unruly, free-for-all world, and the art also has to be able to break the rules and do as it pleases. There's this page in chapter 42 that I absolutely adore, that has been with me since the first time I read this manga. It's the first panel that pops into my head whenever the manga is mentioned, and I honestly love the way my point is made throughout this page. Every single line and wobbliness of the drawing has a meaning, has a purpose to it, and makes the setting feel super uncomfortable. It gives this Silent Hill 2 otherworld vibe if you've ever played the game. With all these hooks hanging from the ceiling, the collection of heads on the shelf, the ribcage and the intestine laying on the floor. And it's not just all these objects that have a clear shape that you can make out, but also all these little impressions that are scattered throughout the world of Dorohedoro. What even is this shape? It has a purpose to it, to show the reader that you don't want to be in this world. Detail in Dorohedoro is used to express the deepness of the world. If you're anything like me, then you like manga. I don't know what it is about it, but manga usually has the deepest, most beautiful stories I've ever had the pleasure to read. And other times, it's utter shit. If I had to give a reason why 8 times out of 10 I prefer this over this, then I have to say it's because of the medium the stories are conveyed in. I think it's the fact that, in the sense of the matter, the characters are the reality of their nature. What I mean by this is that this is Naruto, and this is Iron Man. But it's actually Robert Downey Jr. The characters that exist in manga are the only versions of themselves. They are the real thing. Yes, I know that this is Donkey from Shrek, but I also can't help but picture Norbit in my head every time I hear him talk.
Excuse me, ma'am? We have a 300-pound weight limit.
Bad art. And by that I mean bad art that is actually good, but that is made in a way to reflect the bad in the world and in the characters. So with Dorohedoro, we see how this sporadic art style is used to convey the feeling of living in Birmingham. On the other hand, I want to talk about a manga of a totally different genre and setting. Blood on the Tracks is a manga where a young boy has to come to terms with the fact that his mother is not what he thought she was. The way Shuzo Oshimi uses lines really hits me in the sphincter. Most of the time, they're used to give texture or shadow to where it needs to be, but sometimes they're just a tad bit out of place. I don't think the mom's face has a rugged texture to it. These lines make you feel like something might be wrong. Then we proceed to get confirmation from facial expressions or dialogue that something is in fact wrong. Then we go back to normal, and then we see these lines again. In moments where the MC is with his crush, we don't really see the use of these lines because apparently everything is okay in this moment. But then the next panel, bam, they're back. And it just sets this uneasy tone, a foreshadowing that something is going to happen, the feeling that everything is going to come crashing down. And I know the artist is doing this on purpose because this scene right here is meant to make you feel uneasy. Even though as a new reader you probably can't tell that something's off in this panel, but since I've already read the whole manga, I know that something's off in this panel. The character is purposely trying to act like everything is fine, even though she's seething inside. But look, no fucking lines. I'm not crazy. If in Dorohedoro lines are used to convey disgust, then in Blood on the Tracks lines are used to express suspense. You should not trust what is being showed to you on the panel, because even though it's something totally harmless, there's clearly something out of place here. But why should there be something out of place in this manga? It's about a woman living with her son. Blood on the Tracks was a very hard read the first time. I don't really want to experience being forced to understand the harsh reality of the unfairness of life as a middle school boy. There's something super scary about watching kids grow up, because they are their own person. They'll eventually make decisions that go against what's been taught to them, and that might lead them to a miserable existence. Coming of age stories are basically horror stories, and it's doubled when the oppressor is someone so close to the main character, like a mother. The use of the lines start making more sense the more the story progresses. They're used to shadow objects, and also to foreshadow plot. Detail is used to reflect the deepness of the characters, as opposed to Dorohedoro where it's used to reflect the deepness of the world. And this is done throughout the whole manga, and it's done masterfully. If you've never read Blood on the Tracks, it's written in a way to be suspenseful. But unlike movies where we have lighting, sound cues, heavy breathing from characters, delivery and dialogue, and most importantly, music. In manga, all we have to get a sense of the heaviness of the panel is the art itself. The way I see it is that in manga, usually when an artist wants to show deepness, gravity, emotion, suspense, horror, magnitude, the more detail is used. And the more ink that is put to paper, the heavier the page becomes. It's a direction of the detail that makes art hit even harder. I know this video is titled as Bad Art, but in reality it isn't. It's just the way I decided to name the way it feels when you look at a panel like this. There are tons of examples of clean art execution that lead to a similar emotion explored in this video, like what the GOAT Takehiko Inoue does in most if not all of his works. I just really wanted to share the feeling I get of finding beauty in the ugliness, because even though all these lines are unkept, they're unstraight, or they're drawn in the most unconventional of places and settings, there is something amazingly beautiful about all of these panels. So with that, I hope you don't hate me. Fuck you all, and I love you too.